Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and do the constructions for you for assignment number 14 so that you can see how they're done. For number 1, we want to construct a segment PQ where PQ is equal to the length of AB plus CD. So I'm going to start off by drawing a segment, making sure it's long enough. Then I'm going to go ahead and measure the length of AB using my compass, transfer it onto the segment, measure the length of CD, measure it onto my segment, and then I'm going to mark the endpoints P and Q. So here's P and Q. Alright, for number 2, construct the segment XY where XY is equal to CD plus 2EF. So for number 2, again I need a segment. I'm going to measure out the length of CD with my compass, transfer it onto the segment. I'm going to measure out the length of EF and transfer it on. After CD there's 1 and there is 2. So I'm going to go ahead and label my endpoints X and Y. So at the beginning we have X, at the end we have Y. For number 3, we want to construct the segment HK where HK is equal to AB minus 2EF. So for number 3, we're going to draw a segment. And we're going to measure out the length of AB using our compass. Transfer it onto our segment. And we're going to measure the length of EF. And we're going to go backwards for subtraction. I'm going to take away 1 EF. I'm going to take away 2 EF. So here's the beginning at K and the end at H. All right, for number 4, we're going to start using the angles. So for number 4, we want to construct angle LGE, where the measure of angle LGE is equal to the measure of angle X. All right, so to copy an angle, the first thing I'm going to do for number 4 is draw the side of the angle. Then I want to be the same distance across the angle for each duplicate. So I'm going to draw an arc across angle X, keeping the same compass setting. I'm going to draw an arc across my duplicate. Then I'm going to measure the width of angle X at the arc. And duplicate that onto my copy. And I'm going to connect the vertex to the point of intersection. And then I want to make sure I label my angle correctly. So we want it LGE, so I'm going to label LGE. All right, for number 5, we want to construct angle MZT, where the measure of angle MZT is equal to the measure of angle Y. If I take a look at number 6, I'm going to end up combining angle Y and Z, so I'm going to make sure that the arc that's on my angle X is going to be the same as the arc that's on my angle Y. So I'm going to go ahead and just measure out that arc. And then I'm going to copy that one onto my angle Y. All right. All right, so for number 5, the first thing that I want to do is copy the side of the angle. All right, and then I want to duplicate the arc that I just drew. All right, now I want to measure the distance across angle Y at my arc. And I'm going to transfer the width of the angle onto my duplicate. Line up the point of intersection with the vertex. And I have the same measurement as angle Y. We're labeling that MZT. MZT. All right. Now for number 6, we want to construct angle LMN, where it's equal to the measure of angle Y minus the measure of angle X. So I'm going to start off with the measure of angle Y. So for number 6, my first step is going to be to make the side of the angle. Okay. Then I want to measure the initial arc that measures the width into the angle. And I'm going to copy that onto my angle here. Okay, now I want to copy the width of angle Y onto my duplicate. So if I were to just want the measure of angle Y, this would be it right here. But for number 6, I want the measure of angle Y minus the measure of angle X. So I know that the arc I used across the angle is the same. So now I'm going to measure the width of angle X at that arc. And I'm going to take it away from angle Y. So I go back into the angle. Now I'm going to connect that intersection. And here's my answer. So we had the measure of angle Y minus the measure of angle X. And I want to name that LMN. So LMN. All right, for number 7, we want to construct angle LMN again, where now it's equal to the measure of angle Y plus the measure of angle X. So I'm gonna, for number 7, start off with the side of my angle. Now I want to transfer angle Y first. So I'm gonna measure the arc into the angle and transfer that onto the duplicate. I'm going to measure the width of angle Y at the arc, transfer that on to my new angle. Now if I wanted just the measure of angle Y, this would be the measure of angle Y, but I want the measure of angle Y plus the measure of angle X. So now I'm going to take the width of angle X at the same arc, so we want to make sure that that's always the same, okay, and add it onto the measure of angle Y so that it gets bigger. So now I'm going to line up the vertex with that intersection. And we also want to name this LMN, so LMN. All right, Now for the last construction for this assignment, we're looking at number 8, where it says to construct triangle KHJ, where all sides have the length of CD. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first, for number 8, draw a segment so I can figure out what is the length of CD. Okay, so for number 8, I'm going to go back to CD. So I'm going to open up my compass to the length of CD and transfer that onto my segment. All right, so that's going to be the length of each side. So that means from the vertex where my compass point is now, both of the other vertices should be the same distance away. If I pick up my compass point and put the compass point on the other vertex, each vertex should also be the length of CD away. So where we see this point of intersection, we know that we have the length of CD from each vertex of the triangle. All right, so if we take a look, here's the length of CD, here's the length CD, here's the length CD. Now one of the things that's pretty cool about an equilateral triangle is not only are all 3 sides equal, but all 3 angles equal 60 degrees. So if you take a look at the protractor, when I line up to measure my angle, it goes through the 60 degrees right here. So if I never ever need to create a 60-degree angle, this is the way I would do it as well. All right, last thing is to name the triangle correctly. So KH and J. KH, J. All right, I hope this helps. We'll see you next week.